I don't think we've been introduced yet. My name is Pran, and I'm a real life civil engineer. Yes, I've studied civil engineering and worked in the area for a bit. I'm currently studying to get my master's, and since I can remember, I've been a fan of city planning, organization, and designing. I'm also quite a fan of roller coasters and parks, and I've been playing games like RCT3, Parkitect, Theme Park World, or Planet Coaster since I was like 9 years old. I've never done something like this ever, at least at this scale. But since I am approaching the end of my student era, I thought I could put some of the stuff I've learned to practice and make an amusement park from a perspective of an engineer. So I guess this is my way to welcome you to the series. Real life civil engineer, build a theme park or planet coaster. Or something of the sorts. I still don't know how I'm gonna call it, honestly. I thought that maybe you would be interested in seeing how this park is being built in the mind of both an enthusiast and someone that kinda knows what they're doing and saying. So, let's get started. So you guys can see what I just did. I just downloaded a map that it's in the Steam Workshop and made it into the challenge mode map, like a scenario. I'll explain to you guys later what I did and what I did not do. But basically, you guys can see me now laying out some basic roads for the park. These roads are not going to be used in the moment, but I just want to make them because I knew and I was planning that there was going to be a road that was going to cross through the normal, the not the normal, the road that was serving as the entrance. So I just wanted to have it laid out so that the headache would be now and not after. There you guys see me building the bridge because I'm gonna start building this park in that island. The park is currently closed and it will stay like that up until I created like a fair amount of rides in an area that I could call a park, you know? Because that's basically how parks in real life work. You don't open a park with just two rides and the whole park barefoot. So I want to make it as true to real life as possible. So that's what I'm basically doing. When I was planning about this park, I was just planning of making the island as like an uncharted island that has just been discovered, and now we're building the civilization there, and there's going to be a bunch of rides, and so it's basically going to be like kind of like an adventure themed island, but not quite. It's going to be kind of like mix between like the adventure and just jungle, plain normal jungle. Zone. It's gonna be really tropical. It's gonna be full of foliage, and it's gonna be a really cool place. I think. I am planning. I am planning on having like a couple of coasters in this island. Right now, what I have in mind is doing one roller coaster, which you guys will see after, and then doing maybe a kiddie coaster. I'm not really sure. I'm just improvising, honestly. Like, I knew I wanted to have like a high intensity ride, a medium intensity ride, and a low intensity ride. You guys will see that after because I've recorded a little bit ahead of time. But yeah, I would consider the chair swings, the wave swinger, I don't know how like the official name of this is. I know it's made by Sear, but I don't know. But yeah, I would consider it like the medium thrill ride on this section of the park, or at least the medium thrill ride that I need to open the park, because I'm aiming for this park to be a little bit for everyone, you know, just like Universal Orlando. When you're doing something like this, you need to know what your target's gonna be. For example, in Universal, the target it's obviously families, but also for thrill seekers, it's a really nice park. Whereas Disney, it's strictly made for families and kids. You're not gonna find anything like too over the top in Disney, and it's just their target audience. So nothing wrong with it, but you need to be aware of who you want to attract the most and who you're not want to attract. You do not want to attract the most. So Six Flags, for example, would be a really perfect example for a place that they would like to attract more teens probably, and not families, not kids, definitely like families with kids a little bit older, thrill seekers, because at the end of the day, they're made just not to be themed, which is something that it's really appealing for kids, but just for the sake of having as much rights as they can, you know. So I'm just aiming a little bit like Universal or something like that right now. Honestly, I don't know if it's gonna have that level of detail. There you guys saw me close the park because I wasn't aware that the park was open, and I was just gonna put a food stand over here that was gonna be making people go into the park, and I didn't want that. So right now what you guys can see is me building a food stand. It's gonna have a really pretty architecture that you guys are gonna see after, but it took me quite a while to build this because it's not like in the main axis is that you tend to do your buildings at. And I wanted to have this, and I wanted to challenge myself a little bit, because like this here is basically to challenge myself, because I feel like sometimes when I'm on Planet Coaster I just do the exact same thing every single time. So I wanted to challenge myself to do something different, and in this case that thing different, it's making this building over here that is absolutely different. It's something that I have never done. You guys will see me struggle with the roofing because obviously it's something that I've never done, and I was trying to like make it a little bit like hay bale roofing or something, but then the hay bale is not aligned with the advanced rotation axes, so I just went for wood. But it turned out really well in the end, I'd say. So yeah, you are gonna be seeing these food stands right quite a lot because I'm going to duplicate them. I'm trying to be a little bit mindful with the time and with the resource gathering, basically because I am a perfectionist, and if I wanted to, and if I was really looking for a perfect park to build, I would be doing it custom building every single thing, and this is not the aim of this park. My aim with this park is just try to apply and try to be like not design just for it to be pretty, but also design it taking into account how stuff would affect the guests and things like that, right? So, for example, here, when I was thinking about this, was like, well, I need to cover up this patch of grass because if there's no paths in the way, then there's grass. In a normal theme park, that's how it's gonna be. We all know that Planet Coaster is not the best at the path tool. But you do what you can with what you have. So yeah, that was me working through that. So let's just go a little bit into real-time recording, and let me show you guys my progress right now, okay? So here we have the map with the first layout all set. I'm gonna tour you guys around. So what I did is I took a random creators map and converted it into scenario. Our scenario goals right now is to reach several goals of monthly profit, which is like kind of like to be like a low budget park to a medium budget to a high budget like Disney or stuff. So I got it all ready for that. Also, I turned it into a research map, so I don't have all the coasters, I don't have all the rides researched. As you can see, I have those truck rides, then I have like two transport, and then these rides. Before I started, what I did though was create a monorail line here, just in case we have a lot of flux of people in the future taking it, seeing it in the perspective of an engineer. Maybe a tram and monorail would be really useful to bring a lot of people here through another entrance that is not this one, just in case people don't want to walk in through this entrance and not have it all like too congested. So basically, when you're doing this kind of parks, we're planning it to be a big park, and we're planning to like occupy the whole map. But for the moment, we're gonna focus on this part, which it's gonna be like an island theme to, well, Lost Island, like tropical tiki kind of like Hawaiian architecture. You can see what I built. I built the swinger firefly catcher, which I'm gonna add a little bit more theming later maybe, but right now for the moment this is gonna be it. It doesn't have a long line because I don't plan it to be like the one of the ones that is gonna have a long line. It's a medium intensity ride. Not even medium, it's going to be probably low, like it's a low intensity excitement ride. So it's just like a people pleaser, like for people to have. Yeah, I know I don't have that, so for people to have and to know that they have variety on this park. And so yeah, we have a pip shot smoothies over here, which we are not also the vendor is gonna be fired because for the moment we are not open in the park. The park is currently closed. We're working with 68,000 right now, and it's not going to be open up until we finish kind of like the zone, because it would not be realistic to open a park where it is just one ride. Also, I'm going to try, and as far as I can, as much as I can, I'm going to try to make it like free rides and then the entry fee. Okay, so we're going to have to see how much of an entry fee are they willing to pay, how much are they not willing to pay, etc, etc, etc. So you can see that I mixed and matched several kinds of pathing because I didn't want to do a custom flooring, because that would be too detailed and I would not have space or time for the engineering part of the things, right? So yeah, these two places for food and stuff, a food court, I'm placing it over here because there's the place where we have a lot of space, and if people are coming through here, at least we're not occupying it all. In real life this is supposed to be a continuous space, but as you can see, it's like really a wide place where people can just skip through the line, not skip through a line, but like have space still for the line, not to be blocking the actual shops. Then also I have planned here a little bit of a walkway, which I'm gonna leave right now for the moment. I just did it because I wanted to plan it. I don't have the entrance planned either because this part's not gonna be planned. This is gonna be decorated. I'm gonna decorate this bridge, but not yet, probably not in a while, because I want to focus on this. So I was thinking of making this, then we're gonna add a pair more rides. I was thinking of adding a low thrill, a medium thrill, and a high thrill. So probably I'm gonna add the paratrooper ride over here, and probably like the Weather Trombot. Probably like it's one of the ones that has the most, or the Seer Star Hype. This one's pretty good. This is also a Seer. I don't know, this one's kind of expensive and this was cheaper, but maybe this one could give like the excitement I'm looking for. Also, this is too themed, so it's not gonna be like really compatible. It would be compatible on a sci-fi zone, but this is not a sci-fi zone. This is a place where like we're lost. So I would like to have it a little bit less themed, like this one. So yeah, what's this? This one could be also an option. But again, it's kind of like themed, so we would have to give it a skin to it. We'll see what we do. For the moment, this is it. I'm gonna add also a coaster. My intention is having a coaster at least on this zone, and then some more shopping and some more shops, facilities, and buildings overall. So yeah, let's see which coasters do we have. As you guys can see, we have plenty of coasters. But yeah, since I have some mods on, what my rules for this will be that I'm just gonna do like, if I'm having like this is a giga, I'm just gonna have like a giga type of coaster. I cannot have it like be a floorless one because I don't have it researched. You know what I'm going for? So yeah, let's just keep on going. Let's just keep on building and see what we end up with. So, in the end, I decided to create a B&M inverted coaster. Honestly, I don't know why. Looking at the options that I had, I felt like it was one of the most useful ones. But again, I don't have any idea why. I was wondering if I should do a Mac launched, but then I thought that doing a launched, it's like too safe, because at the end of the day, a launched roller coaster will not require that much space as a chain lift driven one, because, well, the chain lift, it's a huge part of the roller coaster, and it's the part that occupies the most. It's the point where you go the highest, you know. And so I wanted to make an immersive coaster, but not take advantage of the launched ones, because they're so easy to theme, you know. So yeah, that was kind of my way of thinking, I guess. Right now, you guys can see me doing the roller coaster. I mixed a little bit of some techniques that I've been doing on some other places. I started with the design of the second half of the coaster, basically after the mid-course brake run, because sometimes when I've done some other roller coasters and I've thought that I wanted to have a mid-course brake run on this one, I obviously wanted to have one, because that it's a really nice thing to have if you want to have a capacity monster, because it breaks blocks apart and all that. So I thought I wanted to have a mid-course brake run, but I also remembered that some other times when I've been designing some roller coasters, the mid-course brake run and the part after that brake run ends up being so boring and so slow, which already has happened. I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of like on the slower side, but I'm happy with it either way. But yeah, I designed to make sure that the coaster, the train was clearing that part. I always do some block checks in here, which is something that it's not necessary to do, because like, if the coaster breaks down, it's not gonna stop at the mid-course brake run or anything like that, you know. But like, I want to make it as realistic as possible, and if like you put a mid-course brake run and then you have no way to bring the roller coaster back to the station, then it's not going to be a good course brake run, because you would have to like pull it or do some other stuff and like close the ride for quite a while, which is not desirable. But yeah, some like design choices that I just did. Then I did so yeah, I did the last part of the coaster. Then I started doing it from the front, checking the forces that they were good because I wanted to make it realistic, fun, but also I kind of like a little bit out of the ordinary, you know. Um, so yeah, here you guys will see me struggle quite a while to get a shaping of a tilted loop that ends up being half tilted, half straight down loop. I like how it is, and I also like to think that, well, that gives it a little bit more of personality to the ride, because I want it to be kind of like a ride that is not possible to clone. You know, like rides like Batman or Batman the Ride, like the invert shaping of the Batman, the layout of that. It's really clonable because it's really compact and it like really pre-made and it fits in every single plot of land. But I wanted to do something different on this one. And we're talking about like a park that we are planning it to be on the level of Universal or Disney. So it has to be custom. You cannot have a clone on that kind of park. It would be the worst thing ever. So yeah, I finally managed to finish my loop. There you guys see me checking the smoothness of it. If I needed to do shorter track pieces other than the 4-meter method. Then I went underground for a bit because I wanted to have something underground, because underground and dark ride kind of sections of a ride are always really good because they allow you to theme better with the lighting and stuff. Sorry, yeah, my English is not really good, but I'm trying. But yeah, then it goes into a 0G roll, which at the first half is kind of like shaped like a normal B&M 0G roll, but then it just flats out and goes into a helix. As I said, I was aiming this to be like a new gen B&M, but also custom and completely never something that has never been done before, you know. So this is what we got. So what I was thinking about doing in that tunnel is basically doing something like a temple, like a kind of like underground temple that has been like hidden for so long, but you are like an archaeologist and you find it or something like that. I don't know. I haven't decided on the theme yet. I know it's gonna be jungle. I know it's gonna be like adventure kind of themed, but I'm not sure about the name yet. Maybe in the next update I'll tell you guys that like I'm completely sure about the name or whatever. But for the moment, the ride doesn't have a name. It's B&M Invert 1 at the moment. So yeah, right now you guys see me doing a dive loop, I think it is. Yeah, I think it's a dive loop. Yeah, it's a dive loop, because I know that what Valraven has in Cedar Point, it's an Immelman, and so this one is going the other way around, so it's a kind of like a dive loop, and then I took some of the pre-made elements to see how they would look like, and how, if I could, by any chance, fit a pre-made one. Of course, I couldn't, because they're too big, and they are too uncomfortable to work with, because they are too rigid. They don't allow for any flexibility, so I ended up doing a banana roll for by myself. But you guys will see the problems with the banana roll. I'm kind of gonna spoil it. So basically, the problem is that it didn't make the whole layout of the track. So I had to reshape that banana roll to try and make it, you know, to try to make the train clear that banana roll. But then I went into a second problem, and it was that we were not reaching the actual like mid-course brake run. There you guys see me struggling with something because I don't know why, but it didn't let me like autocomplete. So I just had to tweak some stuff out, but then I managed to get it. And yeah, so as I was saying, banana roll had to be sized down. You guys are gonna see the train going through it, and you're gonna see that it does in fact not go through it, and it's gonna volley. So I reshape it, I make it smaller, and I'm gonna throw it again. I'm gonna send the train again. As you can see, the train's not being sent, it's not clearing it. Now I'm just gonna make it smaller, and then it's not gonna clear the block break. And I thought that it was because I was using too much track, and so the track I was like, I tweaked also the I'll say it someday, maybe, the friction rate, but it also didn't work. So I ended up doing a immelman on this case, and so I ended up with a kind of like a bat wing kind of element, but like custom, because it was sideways. It does not go perpendicular to the actual bat wings direction. So yeah, it's kind of like I call it a pretzel batwing. You guys are gonna hear me after this call it like that, but yeah, I'm kind of happy with the layout of this coaster. It's definitely unique, and it's not going to clear. You guys are going to see it right now, but what it's just going to do is just lower the height of the mid-course brake run, which is going to make the end part a little bit slower. But at this point, I just don't care. It's going to be kind of like a little bit tamer. So even though it's going to be considered a high thrill ride, it's going to be one of the tamer ones on the high thrill segment of the park. But yeah, in this island, it's definitely going to be the most high thrill thing. But yeah, you guys see me here, seeing the whole layout and the whole POV, smoothing out a little bit. And yeah, we're just going to go into a live mode and see the results. So the coaster is done. You guys can see it here. It's kind of like a strange one, first of all, because it has like a half, like straight half, like input tilted loop. Then this drop is like kind of bizarre. We got a bizarre batwing over here that kind of resembles a pretzel loop, but not completely. So pretzel batwing, I would call it, maybe. Then there's some parts that it might be a little bit more boring, like this one. You see that like there's not much going on there, but it's just like the previous thing to go to the brake run. The brake run, it's reached kind of slow. In reality, the roller coaster. In reality, a roller coaster wouldn't do that. Honestly, it should reach the brakes, the mid-course brake run, with a little bit more speed. But this is Planet Coaster, so what I'm trying to do here, it's kind of like give a little bit of a mix realism with cartoons and stuff. So probably I'm not gonna make any transfer tracks on anything, because I know it's part of realism, but I also don't enjoy that much doing that kind of stuff. I don't know what I'm gonna do at the end of the day, but maybe probably that won't happen. So yeah, basically I based myself on Alpengeist for this first drop. I wanted to have it like do the whole turnaround. It turned out really good, and I think it pulls like some strong forces over there. Then we have this loop, which, as you guys can see, it's tilted at the beginning so that like I don't have to do it. I don't have to straighten up the track, and then it goes down to a tunnel where I'm thinking of putting some theming over there. It goes to a 0-0, which goes into a helix, kind of like a helix, and then the pretzel batwing, as I was saying. Another helix. Mid-course breakdown goes to a drop, an overbanked turn, and then it goes into a low-speed 0-0 for a final helix and the final breakdown. Now, I really like this design. I will have to put several custom supports because what Planet Coaster that does is when you're putting a support in water, as you can see, all like there's some metal going into the water, and that is not something you should do because metal does not handle water well. So I'm gonna have to custom support it just so that like concrete is only underwater and metal is over the water. But other than that, I think we are good. This is the design. I'm gonna change colors probably. I'm gonna have to theme a lot. We're gonna have to theme a lot of stuff, supports, and several kind of stuff like that. So yeah, let's go. So in this last couple of videos of speed build videos, you guys can see that I just changed the color scheme. I just went with like a golden tone for the spine and then green supports because I want to put some foliage and I want the supports to be camouflaged, not hidden, but camouflage as so the more supports I can hide behind the bushes, the better. So here you guys can see, since I did this whole coaster with a 4-meter method, I'm allowed to, like, it allows me to put more, like, precise supports over there. So I'm trying to see which supports can I just leave by default and which ones should I do custom, you know, either because they're not realistic or because they're over the water, and it would be better for me to do them custom rather than just leaving them in the default mode. But yeah, so I just also did the queue. As you guys can see, the queue is not that long because I am planning on this. Well, I'm not planning. This ride has immense capacity. It has like more than 1900 people per hour capacity if everything goes right, because the minimum dispatch time is of about 30 seconds, so it would be like 24 riders per each 30 seconds, which is a real high capacity. But yeah, so there's that, taking into account the loading time and stuff. It won't be that, but it could be that at some time. Here you guys see me doing the small plaza that it's going to end up being in this part of the park, because this is going to be like the last part of pathing that I'm going to do, at least for now. And for some part of this place, I put another shop in there. I actually put an info kiosk in there to be able to sell fast lane tickets, fast pass, the priority pass queue, because I wanted to do that, and you guys will see me doing that right now as well. But yeah, it's gotta have it. Like every single park that it's a little bit bigger has it, so this one would not be less. So there you guys see the priority pass, and now you guys are gonna see me custom supporting every single like support that I cannot custom. Not custom, but like I cannot leave the default one. So you guys see me a little bit. Most of them are going to be over the water because I said the only part that can touch the water is the concrete. If you guys didn't know that, but concrete, you can give it like a layer of a water, like not a layer, but like a water resistant layer. But even if you don't give it a layer like that, concrete resists water and erosion from water much better than steel, because steel, even if it's stainless, water has some properties or has some minerals that could like react with the steel. So that's why the steel support is going to be outside of the water, and then the concrete's going to be sunk into the water. But it's not completely realistic, because as you guys will see, like the concrete footers are pretty high. And so if the forces are not good, there could like the concrete footer should be a little bit wider, just because they're too tall. So if it's too tall and then there comes a force, especially in the concrete footers that support tilted beams, if those beams have a high force, the concrete will not handle it well. Because if you guys didn't know, concrete is really good to support compression forces. That is when you are like pushing down on the concrete onto the floor, but traction is not really well supported by concrete. Traction is when you are pulling from the concrete. So if you have a piece of an elastic band, if you pull that elastic band, that is pulling some traction on the band. So that is better supported by steel, but concrete's not supported like that. So if there's like the total force is not completely fully compression, the concrete footer might fail. But we are on Planet Coaster, as I said. We're trying to make it a little bit more realistic, but also have some like creative liberty, you know, as I did in here, because this support was one of the weirdest ones that I had to do because of like the tilted loop situation. But yeah, then I decided that the underground section, the footers we would not have footers, because it would be a waste of time, would have horizontal beams, and then those beams would be completely sunk into the terrain around. I'm gonna have to put some rocks in it and stuff, because you can do that if the terrain is rock, but not if like it's some less compact and like strong for terrain. But yeah, I am just custom supporting. This is going to be the custom supporting, and then we'll be completely done with the coaster. The only thing we'll have to do with the coaster is theming, but like the coaster itself will be like, it's actually ready to open. Like it would be ready to open at this time. Like the actual park would be starting to test the coaster at this moment. You know, they gotta run the trains a couple of times before they are able to open it. They gotta do some like pre-season testing and stuff, and that would be done once the coaster is fully constructed, which already is. What's not fully constructed is like the station and all that, but that's just more theming wise. But yeah, we're not gonna do that on this episode though, because this episode is already approaching like 40 minutes and it's pretty long already. So the last thing you guys are gonna see is the coaster done, and that's gonna be it. The support's done, the support structure, because the coaster is already done, the layout's already done, the supports are not. You guys can see now I'm working on the final helix. And I have to admit, I really liked building and custom supporting a roller coaster. I found it like really relaxing. Like also, well, I try to make it a little bit like realistic and taking into account like how the engineering process would be. So you guys are gonna see in this last helix that there's gonna be a lot of supporting, and maybe not that much is necessary because it's a B&M. The spine is really robust, I don't know how you say it. Like it's a really strong spine, and it will support all the forces by itself. It can handle force as well, and it can handle less supports rather than, I don't know, an Intamin or a Mach. But I just supported it because I wanted to be on the safe side. But yeah, we're coming close to the end of this video. Right now we're gonna see some screenshots and some other clips, and we'll be done. So yeah, here you guys can see how the coaster turned out to be. I really liked it, how it turned out to be. I'm not really used to doing B&M inverts. But yeah, it was a real fun process to do. So this will be the last thing you guys are gonna see on this episode. Next thing will be theming all this area and maybe building some other stuff, but that will be in another episode. So if you guys enjoyed this one, make sure you guys leave a like if you want, subscribe if you want to see more, maybe. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next episode. Thanks for watching. Bye.